show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's September 29th, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And I'll tell you what, Matt, that Leonard Taylor blog yesterday where he talked about wanting this, that there's no question that he wants to be a Miami Hurricane, explaining that the reason he's not playing is because he doesn't know the plays, and just setting the record straight on those transfer rumors to Florida. Man, that thing was lit up all day, and people loved what he was saying, and it just really inspired, I guess, a lot of confidence in the Canes Nation that things are not as bad all the time as they may seem. And Leonard Taylor's got some work to do. He's got some studying up to do on the plays as the season goes forward, but he understands that that's what's holding him back, not any slight or mistreatment by coaches, and that he's not going to Florida. So, yeah, everybody was really pumped up about that. But now it's Wednesday, and it's time to turn the page towards Virginia. And Thursday night's primetime game on ESPN that kicks off ACC play for the Miami Hurricanes. And we do a lot of that this morning on the website. We've got our countdown to kickoff show. Had a chance to spend a great deal of time with Damon Dillman from CavsCorner.com in taping this morning's show, and really gives us a lot of insight into the Cavaliers, which are really a team of mystery, Matt. And, you take a look at, like, you remember last year when they played Virginia, and it was kind of like a weird game. And Virginia had this goofy offense, very non-traditional, all these crazy gimmick quarterback run plays and things like that. And they were hardly considered an explosive offense. Well, my God, have they done a transformation? Now they're one of the most explosive offenses, certainly in the ACC, and maybe even the country, when you look at some of the numbers that they've been putting up, and quarterback Brennan Armstrong has been putting up, throwing for 400-plus yards on a regular basis. And but their defense, surprisingly, is suddenly horrible. And so last year it wasn't very good. This year it's not very good. This game on Thursday night, to me, has all the makings of a shootout.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. But the caveat to that would be that, we don't know who's going to play quarterback for Miami. So Miami might need to somehow figure out something on defense to keep those points down, because you're not sure what you're going to get from a first-time quarterback really starting, because I don't consider that last game a real game. So, it's interesting because Bronco Mendenhall touched on it in his post-practice comments yesterday, that there's going to be he made it pretty clear he doesn't think Derek King's playing. I think Miami's trying to play some sort of mind games with Virginia, like, oh, maybe Derek's going to play. He moved around in practice. Like, I think pretty much anybody who knows that the guy has a sling on his right arm last week and wasn't able to, you're going to lose strength in that arm, and it just seems very unlikely he'd play. So the fact Manny says he might still play, it's basically just gamesmanship. But this is the actual quote from Mendenhall. He said, he said, and then real focus on quarterback play, which is not only throwing the ball, but scrambling and getting the ball in space. 2 really good players. So he's obviously talking about Jake and Tyler, not talking about Derek, so it certainly sounds like he's not like falling for it, so to speak, and you have to think that their defense is coming up with some ways, just like their offense has all this misdirection stuff. I mean, their defensive players, as bad as they are actually a pretty veteran group. They should understand what they're doing. If they throw some confusing things Miami's way, I mean, there could be some problems. So Miami's defense better be able to step up to the challenge, because if Derek was playing at full strength, I'd say, yeah, Miami 30-plus points easily. Without him, you're just not quite sure. There could be a few hiccups here and there. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It'll be really encouraging if Tyler Van Dyke can just come out fast and firing. And then guess what? They may not even use Jake Garcia, because why would you take a guy out of his rhythm? And this is a good opponent to get your feet wet against, because they're not a good defense. So if Tyler can come out and put points up real quick, that's a great sign for the rest of the ACC schedule for Miami, because, again, we don't know when Derek will be back.
Well, I'm with you. I don't think the Eric King plays tomorrow night. I think it's going to be the Van Dyke show to start, and then I do think we'll see Jake Garcia. It's like, how could you put Jake Garcia on the bench after the way he played last week, and the way and forget about that, Bo. How about the way he performed after the game? That press conference after the game from Jake Garcia was refreshingly epic. Like it was really great.
That's what Rhett Lashlee said all along. He said this is the party guy, and the other guy's the serious guy. But the other thing Rhett Lashlee said this week is he understands a quarterback needs to be in a rhythm, and taking him out for a series or two gets him out of a rhythm. So if Tyler Van Dyke's going out there and it's a shootout, why on earth would you take him out just to play Jake Garcia because Jake did well against a horrible team? If Tyler Van Dyke's rolling and he's the starter, he's not coming out. There's just no need. Even if he has a bad series or two after he scored a couple of touchdowns, you're not going to break up that rhythm. I just don't understand why they would do that. I mean, I understand you want him in the post-game press conference, and so do I. But, like, you got to try to win the game. And if your quarterback's rolling, you don't take him out just because you have a pre-plan to play Jake Garcia on the third series like you did last game. I mean,
I don't see too much separation between those two guys.
There's not. But if one guy's rolling, you stick with him. I mean,
we'll see. We'll see. I kind of think they're going to play both, but you could end up being right. We'll see. But in the meantime, the real issue for Miami in this game is as focused on quarterbacks as everybody justifiably is. To me, is stopping Virginia's offense. And they throw the ball like 3/4 of the time, and they've got a stable of playmakers on the outside and a tight end that transferred from Oklahoma State that's 6'7" and can flat play. And all of that does not match up well with Miami's defensive issues. And I think Virginia is going to be able to score points in this game. And Miami, the onus is going to be on Miami to score, but even bigger onus with these young quarterbacks playing is going to be on the defense to stop them. And I think that Manny Diaz is going to go after Brennan Armstrong. And a number that jumped out to me, Matt, in doing my prep for these shows in the game was the sack totals. And Virginia's offensive line has given up 12 sacks so far this season. They gave up 6 sacks last week to Wake Forest. And I think that bodes well for Manny Diaz and the style of defense that he likes to play, getting after the quarterback.
I mean, I think there's no doubt Manny Diaz is going to blitz like crazy. He always does. I think against this team, if you can get pressure with your front four, you shouldn't blitz. That's just my personal opinion. This is a team that has 4 receivers with over 230 yards already, and then a fifth will be the tight end. We've seen teams just running free downfield constantly in one-on-one coverage all year. It's not working like in the secondary. If the team wasn't such a great passing team, I 100% agree. Just get to the quarterback as quick as possible. The guy probably can't make a play anyway. But this is very dangerous. There are going to be some big plays that are going to happen if Manny blitzes and they don't get there really fast. So I'm hoping against hope that they'll get pressure just with their front four and can just drop these guys into coverage and make life tough on Brennan Armstrong, because you're almost doing him a favor sometimes when you blitz and you got a guy one-on-one and he just makes a move and he's gone, So I'm very interested to see if Manny adjusts what he's been doing, because it seems like the personnel he has isn't really suited in the back end against a really good quarterback, just based on what we've been seeing. I mean, you have to agree with me, right? Guys are just running free in the secondary every game, right?
No doubt. Even last week we saw guys running free.
Last week against a horrible team. So, that's very concerning. I think something has to change. I think Manny will dial up the pressure early. My feeling is it probably won't work, and I hope that he has a secondary plan, where these guys understand what to do as a secondary plan, and they have to get pressure with that front four. They just have to. I mean, that's going to be the fallback, and they have to be able to do it, because they got to be able to cover these guys with more than just one-on-one on the outside and all these guys that are so talented running down the field.
All right. In addition to our Virginia game analysis, we've got a story this morning on Romello Brinson. Everybody saw the great one-handed catch that he made in the game last week. And in addition to that, we also have the Mike Harley blog. And Harley tells a great story about that sequence in the game leading up to when Romello caught that ball. And Harley heard the play call. He's standing on the sideline watching. He heard the play call. He knew the pass was going to Romello, and he started trash talking the cornerback that was covering Romello. He's standing on the sideline. He's trash talking the kid, saying, "We're coming your way. We're coming your way. Romello, your money. Romello, your money."
By the way, do you think Manny Diaz would be a fan of that if he's going to know now? I don't think he knew at the time.
Oh my God. And then
it's like a catcher telling the batter what pitch is coming, right?
It's unbelievable. And then the ball gets in the air, and Harley is so sure that Romelo's catching it and it's going to be a touchdown that he starts taking off for the end zone to celebrate with him. Romelo makes the one-handed catch, falls down. Harley's up the sideline. They're celebrating the catch. Harley was so excited to see Romelo make that play. And
listen, Mike, if you're watching this, don't do that this week. It's okay against Central Connecticut State. Tell them what play you're running, who you're going to. Don't do that.
Don't do that against Virginia or North Carolina or Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And Mike's like saying to us, like, I didn't care if I got an unsportsmanlike penalty for running on the field and stuff. Like, that's not really what your coaches want to hear, Mike. Like, let's tone it down a little bit this game. We need to beat Virginia, you know? Like, you can't be doing that this week. Central Connecticut State, okay, enjoy the moment for sure. And that was a hell of a catch and a great moment. And it's actually a very funny story. Just don't do it again.
Yeah, it's pretty hysterical. All right, so you've got the Romelo story, you've got the Harley blog, and lastly, an interesting recruiting story on Flip Carswell, the offensive lineman from Georgia that's committed to the Hurricanes. A lot of schools are continuing to recruit him, and people are looking at the struggles that Miami's had earlier this season, and they're trying to flip these commitments. And Flip. Pardon the pun. Is well, he does go by the nickname Flip. I mean, his real name's I think Valentier or whatever.
Yeah,
but
you got it. There you go.
I got it right.
Yeah.
So but he's going by the nickname Flip, and a lot of schools are trying to flip him. Among those, I think Alabama, Georgia Tech, Oregon. There's a whole lineup of schools that are looking at this kid's athletic ability as a former basketball player and thinking, hey, Miami's down. We maybe can flip this kid to our camp. He's making some noise about taking visits. The good thing is he's also making noise about committing in December and signing his papers in December. So that'll reduce the amount of time that people will have to flip. So, but anyway, very interesting story that you guys should check out on the website this morning. All right, well, that's going to be it for today. A lot of stuff there for you to sink your teeth into. You've also got the podcast from CaneSport Live last night. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that show, you can listen to the podcast today. Tonight at 8 o'clock, we have the Lamar Thomas Show. A pretty good guest lineup is starting to develop for that. And if you haven't been watching the Lamar Thomas Show each week, strongly encourage you to do that. It's been a really good, entertaining show. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us once again on Good Morning CaneSport. We'll see you tomorrow morning, everybody, for game day.